gives you access to God. Whereas in spirituality, you don't need anything between you and the soil. You don't need anything between you and the water. You don't need anything between you and the air. You are as directly connected to your divine space, being, and expression. As an individual, you're a cosmos on your own. Everything is internal. It's within. And when you go from inside yourself, you will find everything that is inside is also outside. So therefore, for me, the highest form of spirituality are the Bushmen and the Aborigines who feel nothing, own nothing, but have everything. The bush is their pharmaceutical. The trees are their friends. The animals are their relatives. And they just walk and live in the abundance of everything. And no one can claim that I own, this land is mine. This whole selfish thing, this is mine, then you must put a boundary there. You can't cross here, you can't cross there. And then you end up with all these borders, which becomes a politics of spirituality.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Quest of Destiny. I am back finally with a new video for you all. My intention was to keep up with my weekly uploads, and I was working on a video centered around Kendrick Lamar's Reincarnated lyrics. Just listening to the song one day and the lyrics really hit me and I got full body goosebumps. And I kind of just went down a rabbit hole. So yeah, I went out and bought books on past life regression, and I was doing a lot of research on pantheism, and I was getting pretty much a timeline and a outline put together for that reincarnated video, but I just experienced a major blockage within myself. So whenever I feel like a block, when it's time to create these videos for YouTube, not just YouTube, but just a block in life. Whenever I'm having a hard time to make a decision or I'm not really set on a decision, I like to go into nature and use divination tools like a pendulum, for instance, or tarot is another divination tool. But I decided to use my pendulum, and I went out to nature and asked it if making this reincarnated video was the best thing to do at the time. And essentially it told me no. So I did ask, is talking about my own spiritual journey something that I should be focusing my energy on? And it said yes. So with that information that I got from that, I kind of just started to do a lot of reflecting. Hi, Sunny. So yeah, in these 2 weeks that I've been gone, I've been spending a lot of time self-reflecting, and I have noticed that I've been pretty avoidant with the material that I put on this page recently. And now that I'm being called to speak about my spiritual journey and what I've learned, the many lessons that I learned, not only in just 2024, but the lessons I learned in a mushroom trip that I did recently on December 5th. I just gained a lot of insights and downloads, and in this video, I'm just going to share some of the things that I have learned in the process and also unlearned within these last 2 weeks, and just share and be vulnerable with everyone here. I can definitely say towards the tail end of me diving deep and doing studying on Kendrick Lamar's Reincarnated lyrics, it led me to do more past life regression therapy on my own. Now, I've experienced past life, I guess you can call it regression, through sacred journeys with the help of mushrooms. Now, at the time when I was experiencing those past life regressions, I didn't know it was that. At the time, it was just like clips of a movie of someone else's life from like different time periods too, like ancient Egypt, where like the pyramids were being built, and a bunch of hieroglyphics, and theater, and being a part of a musical cast, just different clips of things. But it all makes sense now that I was more than likely experiencing my past life through those sacred journeys, because it just opened up my spirit and consciousness to have that experience of remembering my past life. And so with the more studying I did around past life regression, I intentionally went into a deep meditation to experience some of my past lives. And I went into it with no fear. whatsoever, and I was just ready for whatever came to me. And through that meditation, I experienced many different lives. In some lives, I was using my voice in ways that caused too much of a ruckus, and because of that, I was silenced. Like I was taken out in silence because of using my voice. And I see that's probably a reason why I have such a hard time using my voice now in this body at this time period, because in my past lives, I was killed for it and harmed for it in brutal ways. And I also experienced some lives where I was fighting. I was like a tribesman, and I was fighting for my tribe members and collaborating with them to keep our village safe. And it was just images of me fighting and being like kind of like this master soldier or like warrior. And the thing that was pulling me was like, I need to fight for my people, my village. So I live lives like that, and I also experienced some pretty dark lives as well. With me experiencing some of my darker past lives, it instantly raised my compassion to new heights. Like just knowing that I lived past life of not being a person who lived with compassion and loved, and I lived on some of those lower vibrational energies of being just wanting to control everything. And that was the root of it, at least, is wanting to control. And through me wanting to control, I harmed a lot of people. When I saw that, I kind of was just like, it took me a moment to let all that resonate, because that was kind of hard to like realize, like, dang, there was lives where I was just like a piece of shit, like a really dark individual. And it took me time to create understanding that because I lived such dark lives, it helped me raise my compassion in this lifetime to be more understanding and more loving, especially for people, and to willing to just really protect others. That's like really a driving force of mine, is to help and protect others. And I think it's because of my past lives and just learning from that and wanting to be better. So within that, going through that meditation, I can definitely say that it raised my compassion for all of humanity, and knowing that we're all on our separate journeys in life, not just in this life, but other past lives. And we're all just working things out and trying our best to return to oneness, to return to love, to return to balance. And I feel like we're getting there. I definitely do feel like we're getting there. Nature is getting us there. And I feel like everything is in divine timing. I'm no longer trying to impose my own will and desire onto earth anymore. I just want to be open to what can pour into me. And that's finally like me resting in more so in my femininity too. I feel like I have so much masculine energy with me that's all about action and movement and just fire. And I'm learning to balance the two, and to relax more into letting things happen, and to releasing my control of things, and having an inner knowing and intuition that all things are working according to Mother Nature's divine plan. Lastly, I just want to talk a little bit more about my sacred journey that I went on through the help of mushrooms. I grow the mushrooms myself, and I dried them out, and I just been letting them sit and stay on my countertop, and I haven't really been communing with them as much, but something just told me to go on this mushroom trip, and I did. Normally when I go on these sacred journeys, I try to go on it with zero attention. I just want to receive the downloads that the golden ones want to give me. But on this trip, I did go into it with intentions. I went on it with the intentions of learning more about my past lives. So with that intention of wanting to learn more about my past lives, the first thing I learned is that I need to release control, because that journey taught me so much more than my past lives, essentially, or what I can probably gain from knowing more about my past lives, because that trip was so much more different than what I could have ever imagined. And it's so hard to put these journeys into words, and I feel like the moment you try to explain it, it kind of loses its meaning. And I'm going to do my best to explain it in a way that can maybe encourage other people to go on their own sacred journeys and seek out their own healing agents to go within, because I feel like that is a method of going back to oneness and being just in complete harmony with nature. One of the tools is definitely meditation, but another tool is definitely seeking out healing agents, whether it be in the form of mushrooms, whether it be anything natural that you can find. I know there's like some toad that can help you have psychedelic effects too, but opening your mind, your consciousness, your spirit body to that, you're able to, the veils they just start to drop, and you're able to see things for what it is. Everything's a lot more simple. I think that we tend to overcomplicate things as humans, and I feel like life is really, really simple. One of the ways that we can live in harmony and just be one with nature is to live more simply, have a more simple life, and not to have so many possessions and desires. That's one of the big things that I learned from this journey, is just to release my control of what I think I know. And through me releasing that control, I did a whole bunch of unlearning in that process. So I kind of mentioned it before, but another thing that I learned from this sacred journey is releasing my desires, not just releasing my control, but my desires as well. And that means like my possessions, things that, or visions that I had for my life, and things, or even how I think the world should go and how we should be operating to make the world be more peace and harmony. I feel like me releasing those desires and just more focused on myself and how I can be a more present individual, and an individual that's more empty and more of a vessel for nature to move within me. When I'm empty and I don't have all these desires and have this roadmap of how I think my life should go, that's when the divine can enter in, and that's where magic takes place, and everything is perfectly on time. Everything is perfectly, like, people come into your life at the right timing, and I've been experiencing it by practicing it just within these last 2 weeks, just being more present and more intentional. The last thing that I learned, which really tripped me out in this journey that I went on with the mushrooms, is to not fear death. Because in this mushroom experience, it's kind of hard to explain, but I died so many times. Within a span of hours, I just kept like coming alive again and then dying, coming alive again and then dying and coming alive. And it's not like a humanly death, but like a spiritual death. Like you feel it, you see it coming, you feel it. And I guess you can kind of call it like an ego death, but whatever it was, my spirit just kept coming alive and dying again. And which each time I died, I lost the fear. Like the fear kept diminishing with each death. I got less and less fearful of dying until the fear was completely stripped of me. I was just like, I guess the best way I can explain it, I just felt black and blue. It felt like a spiritual initiation where I was stripped, I was beaten, I was just, and it not in like a way that was so harmful. It was also a peaceful experience too, because each time I kept coming alive, I had less fear, I weighed less, it was less on me, you know? And it was a trip because I never like experienced that on a mushroom trip. Normally, they're more like insightful and peaceful and a bit humorous, but on this one, it was a bit dark. But it was also a peaceful journey too, because I was able to shed so much and leave so much behind. And in those deaths, I feel like I'm no longer fearful of death because I've done it so many times. Not just within that short span of time when I was on the journey, but also just in my past lives. I've died before over and over and over again, so that's nothing to fear. And I feel like the fear of death is what holds us back so much in life. Fearing that something bad is going to happen to us if we do this or do something wrong, and just knowing that like you've done it before, and with each one of those deaths you brought with you more lessons in this body. And now I'm just more focused on what I can become and the now, essentially. And I'm really grateful for that mushroom experience and what I learned and gained from it, because I feel like I'm going to take it with me for the rest of my life. I'm forever changed because I can just operate as an individual with just way less fear, way less baggage, and just empty, and being empty is not always a bad thing. You know, I feel like having less is a good thing. Living simple is a good thing. And that's what Mother Nature is teaching me, to continue to simplify my life in ways. I feel like me and my wife have simplified our lives a lot. We wanted to move into the country and do the RV living, and we got rid of a lot of our possessions in that process. But I feel like there's still more that, you know, we can part ways with and not cling so tightly to certain things, because at the end of the day, there it's just material. It's material things. So yeah, after that mushroom experience, I've just been, you know, patient and sitting with myself, and I felt this pull to pick up a guitar. And I've wanted to play guitar for at least, I would say, since my sophomore year in college. So however long ago that was, almost 10 years. No way. But however long ago that was, I wanted to pick up the guitar, but I didn't have the money to buy one. So I just started collecting vinyls at that time, and I started my vinyl collection, which later on turned into me DJing. So after my mushroom experience, I felt pulled to pick up a guitar. I feel a deep connection to trees, and on a mushroom trip that I had a few years ago, I was out just walking around, and I was dealing with some family issues even back then too. And I was just looking up at the trees crying, and the trees spoke to me and said that we're your family too. And from that day, it just changed my perspective of how I view family and how I view nature and my closeness to it. And these trees really are my family. And picking up this guitar, the wood, even though it's been processed and a tree had to be cut down for this, I'm really thankful for the beautiful sound to produce. And I look forward to learning how to communicate with this instrument and being disciplined, practicing every day, and just learning something new. I love learning. I love teaching myself how to do things. So this is the next thing that I am doing. And if you see more content of me just practicing and playing the guitar, that's just where I'm at on my journey. And I'm really excited to be on my guitar journey and learning a new instrument, because this is my first instrument that I get to choose for myself. I've played other instruments before. My first instrument that I played was the clarinet, and then eventually in junior high school, I picked up the bass clarinet. I loved the bass clarinet, but that wasn't the instrument that I wanted to play. I wanted to play percussion at first, but the band instructor told me that I needed piano experience, and I didn't have much piano experience. So the next instrument that I wanted to play was saxophone, and I believe my parents thought that was too masculine for me to play at the time. So it was between flute or clarinet, and I just was so opposed to the flute, so I chose the clarinet. And yeah, that was the instrument that I learned how to play. And I'm grateful at the end of the day, because I learned how to read music and play with my friends and learning rhythm. Me having that experience, I feel like it's making me learn guitar a little bit easier, because I do have some musical background with playing the clarinet and the bass clarinet and DJing too, like my timing and rhythm and how to count. But yeah, I'm really excited to be picking up this guitar. And I'm going to end this video with a quote from Noam Chomsky. If you assume there is no hope, you guarantee that there will be no hope. If you assume that there is an instinct for freedom, that there are opportunities to change things, that there is a possibility that you can contribute to making a better world. I was feeling moments of despair and hopelessness, and I feel so differently now. So I hope that this video and that quote that I read to you leaves you feeling more hopeful about the now and the future, and just know that everything is working out according to nature's divine timing. And I also want to send my love to everyone that's being affected by the fires down in LA. I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.